go through base building in Once Human. Obviously, my base has all been torn down, apart from a couple of bits and bobs, just so that I can show you guys some stuff. And I just have everything basically in storage boxes. Let's rebuild a base. When just starting out, you want to try and keep things as small in terms of footprint on the ground as possible. This is because the game allows you to move your base around. This is actually a key feature, so bear that in mind when it comes to moving your base. This is because when you look on the map, this is the only point that you can freely fast travel to from anywhere else. So if I was in the middle of here doing some stuff and I want to just get out of there quick, I can fast travel back to my base. You can use this for a lot of things, like for example, mine is currently close to a silo. So if I'm out exploring the world and decide, I don't know, I want to do a silo run with some friends, I'll just jump back to the silo and I'm already there. You can also use this to make shortcuts for quests. Particularly in grey water, it'll have you repetitively go into some places. You can leave bases around so you can get back to where you were. So for example, if you're out over in this hospital here and you've now got to go back to grey water, you can plant your base down, make your way back, fast travel, and then fast travel your way back to where your base was and continue on as it's going forwards. It's also important for storage. So if you're out and about, collecting materials such as wood or ores, then you can just teleport your base to you and then drop all your stuff off and continue doing what it is you're doing. A lot of convenient things are revolving around the base, so you want to try and make this as easy to move as you can. I'm not a fan of trying to build like big massive castles. Obviously you guys like doing that. You guys go ahead and enjoy whatever you want, but you really ought to get towards the back end because Eternland is kind of where you're going to be making that happening, not in the main world. So with all that being said, let's go through a few things. Of course, on the PC, we press B to get the build mode up, and for me then it's right click to get into the menus, but I don't know if there's any other thing that you guys kind of want to know. But either way, we have the menu here. All of these tabs are pretty self-explanatory. Some of them do seem to have like translation issues occasionally, but all of it's generally quite self-explanatory. So we've got the structures, which is where we're going to be starting out. I'm going to build up a little bit of a base just so that it's all nice and something that I can work with. Now you're going to notice I've got two sets of foundations here, and I actually have these at exactly the same height. There's a reason for this, and I'm going to explain more on this when we get to the defense part of this build. But for now, I'm just going to be working on the actual base part of the build because I need to rebuild that up anyway. And I wanted to change it all to stone, so I figured 2 birds, 1 stone, I could do that and show you guys kind of how this works. In addition though, you kind of want to have your main building and the defensive structures at opposite ends of your territory. We'll talk more on that later on because that thing over there, it kind of like attracts enemies to it, and we don't want that near our main base because they'll start breaking stuff. I had like chests get broken and stuff, and it was just kind of really annoying. What I'm going to decide to do is I'm actually going to build my base on the edge of my initial base kind of blocks, because obviously you start out and you get like 4 blocks for free. If you just kind of coat those around once, you'll have plenty of space to work with. You don't even really need to build walls. Stick a bed on it and you can kind of get away with that and build that up or whatever it is you want to do over time. But if you want something a little bit more substantial, that's kind of what we're going to be working on here. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to build out this way. I kind of want to do a, where is it? I want to do a 4x5 rectangle. That's mostly in line with that, just because otherwise it'll plague me. So I'm going to go with 4 across, and then I can just kind of like edge on this. If I have this, that'll be 4, but I kind of want there to be a bit more of a gap. I'm going to break this row down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm going to fill this in. Now then, if you find like you've got one that you can't place, like here, something that you can obviously do is come back to your territory placement. As long as your cooldown is down, you can kind of remove all this back around again so that you can just keep on working on what it is you want. You can do that every 10 minutes, but it is just worth knowing that if something is kind of in your way, that is a good way for you to fix it. Additionally, I kind of left this bit here like this on purpose. If you want to just change a block, you can just place it in there like that, and you'll get a refund on the materials that were in there. And of course, R is going to allow you to demolish anything and have that refunded as long as there's nothing on it already. I don't know if I'm going to be able to claim these. 1 second. So I'm just going to break all of this off, and that's just going to give me a nice little void here so that I can use all of this for defense of the I think it's like a convert or something. Anyway, we put items in there, we defend it, and then it gives us currency. That's all I need to do. So I got my nice 4x5 square here, and what I actually want to do, I want to put a 3x3 building in the middle of it. So I'm going to grab some walls now. I'm going to put that here. Now what you'll see on the wall, look, we have an arrow, which one is basically the inside, one is the outside. So you want to have the arrow facing towards where you want your outside to be. Otherwise, it's going to look a little bit weird. Now, for now, I'm just going to put walls in. But we can, as you saw, just replace these with whatever we want. Okay, and so for me, that ends up looking something rather basic like this. And of course, it's kind of boring. Now, if you would decide you do just want to keep plain walls, you can come over to prints and you can redecorate these pretty much however you like. So come over to walls here. I can have them look like brick on the inside. I could have them look like some kind of weird wallpaper, whatever you want. I'm not going to decorate these too much just because I'm not too worried about it. But you have all of these different things. You got the ceiling there. We got the flooring. So if you want the floor to look like wood, you can kind of paint that in, which is kind of quite a nice feature that you can basically use whatever material you want down, but then make it look however you like. Not really an issue if we decide we want to do that. The next thing that I suggest doing is going around the edges of your foundations and filling it with stairs. So you want to come over to structures and then interior here, and we're going to get some stairs on there. This basically means that when we are moving the base around, if it ends up on like a ledge or something, it will have like a bit of a redundancy there to allow us to still be able to climb up onto the base. As I said before, if I need to move this around later on just to fill the stairs in, that's what I'll do. Obviously, if there's not going to be a door there, you don't need to put stairs there. But I don't know where I'm going to put every single door yet, so we're going to go ahead and do all the way along the back. Alright, that's all the stairs I can get on for now. I'll fill the rest in later on. This first floor, for me, is generally going to be exclusively for the deviations. This is because some of them are territory ones, and they want to be able to get in and out of the base nice and easy. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna put a door there to make this easier on myself. I personally like to use the big doors because these guys here, these logging beavers, they will go in and out of the base to get us trees. And we also have things like Digby Boys and all sorts of other stuff that'll want to move around and start harvesting nearby resources for us. And we want to give them a nice, easy time doing that. You might even want to like, so if I put a door there, for example, you might even want to put the door to the room right there. So they've got nice free roam on this bottom floor. It's worth noting that you can have up to 20 of them at a time, so you may want to put that into your plans, right? So if you do 5, if I did 5 on each corner, which probably would work nicely, that would be perfect for this room, and it'd be nice and clean overall, which is kind of how I want to try and keep things. Determine that the deviants, they're going to go on the bottom floor. We want to have another floor on the top, and I don't really want to interfere with the inside of my base too much. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to build stairs around the outside, which is how I'm going to add an extra floor on, and I'm going to make it so that it doesn't increase the footprint of the base overall. So we're going to go back on the interior. We're going to get these stairs. I suppose we could make it stone stairs if we wanted. And we're going to put it right on here like this. And then I'm going to add in some floor. Now, floor up here is actually going to be ceiling. Obviously, you can make this out of any material that you want. And what I like to do is curl it around the corner a little bit. And then I can put another set of steps here to make my next floor. All right, so we have a floor. We don't really want this to be a roof, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to get some more walls on here. And we might want to make this one look a little bit nicer, so we're going to make sure we've got some windows going in this one. Okay then, so we now have a fairly basic looking house. We've got some stairs on the side. It's very accessible, which is one of the key things for me. Is that a door there? No, I wanted that to be a door on that back end. Let's put a door over there. And I want a normal door, probably out this way, maybe. Just because there is a bit of kind of almost unused space here. We'll see what we want to do with this later on. So we've got the way out here. So now if all of my little minions, they want to go out and get farming stuff, that's all going to be nice and easy. This side is where our garage is going to go. So we might as well get that in now. So my garage is there. That's all good. At this point, you might want to decide where other things are going to be going. Now, for me, this first floor, so this is ground floor, first floor is going to be storage and my bed. I definitely want to get a bed in here. I'm not one of these people that needs to make it like a perfect bedroom. I just need a bed in here. So that's going to be over in furniture, beds, get a bed. And it's probably going to go pretty much in the middle. The rest of this now is mostly going to be dedicated to storage, although I do often like to put in a balcony somewhere. It won't fit over the garage, which means I have two options. I can either go out this side, which is kind of not really going to work because that's where stairs are going to go, or I can put one on this side. So I'm going to break this one off. I'm going to put a door in. I'm going to now get some flooring. I could even make this wood flooring, but for now, I'm just going to go with stone ceiling. Then we're going to get some fence on there. And that's going to be my balcony, right? So if I have a nap and I want to wake up in the morning because I'm role-playing something strange, I now have a decent looking area that I can do some kind of overlooking from. You might want to argue that you want to look over at the defense stuff. Realistically, this looks a little bit nicer. We've got a nice gap between us in there, which is rather nice anyways. And so now what I want to do, I want to bring all of my chests up here, and I'm actually probably going to change them all to large chests so that I've got more storage space within my base. When it comes to chests then, we have a few different types. We have weapon chests and armor chests. You definitely want to have a couple of those just for storing stuff in. In the demo, it seems like we don't really have all that many, so I'm not too worried about having tons of them. And I'm going to put those either side of the door just because we have two distinct types between obviously weapons and armor. And now, of course, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start lining up my chests along this wall. Now, two things are going to change. Obviously, I currently only have small chests, and I'm going to be using the larger ones now. Something that I guess isn't necessarily made obvious is that you can in fact edit what this is called. I'm going to call this my money crate for now, because this is how I'm making money in the demo. In case you don't know, I've already done a video on this, but the energy, if you have like the class items that you can create, put in your backpack for a bonus, these sell for 300 energy each, and they're very cheap to make, so highly recommend using these for making energy if you haven't already tried doing so. But now basically I will be bringing up each of the chests. Obviously we can just press F to move it to my next floor. I'll probably order them in a way that makes sense to me and have them change from normal crates to large chests. All right then, I got a little bit carried away with some pillars. I found them in the build menu and they just seem to make the whole house look a bit nicer, especially if we put them between the walls. So overall, just adds a good bit of texture for the aesthetics. Decided that basically deviants go downstairs, my living quarters / storage is going to be upstairs. So now we need to decide where crafting stations are going to go, and there are plenty of options. You could have them upstairs if you wanted to. I like to have mine outside or somewhere really accessible. I'm going to basically line mine up along these two walls here. So on this side, if we're going to fit it, what I actually want is to have two of the supplies workbenches. I actually want to have one of each. There's a reason for this, and I'll show you now. So I want a normal supplies bench, and the reason I like to keep one of these around is because on here, and it doesn't even change the time or anything, this is where I can make my money-making explosive sacks, and I can just keep those going without interfering with my main supplies bench, which is what I'll usually be using to craft my ammunition and stuff. So I'm hoping I'll be able to fit this in nicely. Oh dear, I'm running low on rubber. Okay then, so running a little bit low on rubber apparently. I'll have to fix that after this. But anyways, what I've decided is we're going to put the small workbench around the corner, large workbench here, and then we've got the gear workbench just across from that. And then we're going to go around the corner for synthesis and disassembly. That's going to have most of my crafting needs on the outside of the base, which is what I like. We do still need to have food, and we need to have furnaces, okay? So these are things that we need to make sure that we fit in. So for our cooking needs, which mostly is overtime and waiting stuff, right? And I'm going to include my furnaces with that. I'm actually going to put those in with my living quarters / storage room, just because I'd prefer not to have to keep on building too high. It'll look a bit precarious, but you can just keep going. I'll show you once we get up there that you can kind of add as many layers to this as you wish to. So I'm going to put my meat dryer right here. Hopefully the kitchen doesn't look too bad, or the stove, should I say, against there. Yeah, so we'll put the two stoves. I like to have two because I'm generally either doing one food and one water for this. So I think having two stoves is important. I'll centralize those a little bit better later on. And we're also going to want to make sure we have a few furnaces. So I'm actually going to put those on either side of the door. Two will be enough, to be honest, but you could do more if you wanted, but just for the sake of making this look half decent. Now, of course, we are using powered items here, so we're going to go into power now. So this is a little bit later on. Obviously, to start with, you'll have the standard furnace and the standard stove, which you'll just be using charcoal to fuel, which is absolutely fine. But once you get later on, you'll be able to start getting energy. So we're going to go ahead and we are going to add that on now. For my next floor then, we've kind of extended up this way, and we have a new floor. This is actually going to end up being my roof. I don't want to make this too big. As I said before, this is where my solar panels are going to go, and I've got a bit of a trick for this, depending on how much energy you want to use in your base. But if you wanted to make this taller, you can easily just add some stairs on, go as high as you like. I don't know what the actual height limit is. I haven't tried it. We have plenty of space to work with. Just use as much of it as you wish to. I'm going to take this off for now. And I'm going to use this as my growing patch. So if you were to want to be farming your own crops, for example, here's where you can put your planters and they will happily be out in the sun. Really not an issue. The only other thing that I haven't really farmed much is water, because what I found is if you move your base around, it always gets pulled out of whatever it is that you put it into in the ground. Farming up here, really easy, absolutely simple. You can put these planters in, start planting your seeds if you want to. But the most important thing that I want to kind of show right now is going to be how we need to get some solar panels down. If you don't know about the electric eel, you can get yourself extra power out of these panels. I've already got a video of that up on the channel, so if you guys need that, I'll make sure that's in a card that goes up right now. I always like to make sure these are kind of just out of the way as much as possible, so I'm just going to line them up this in pairs on the opposite side to where my stairs are. That way if I have stuff up here, these will be pretty much be hidden. But I suppose for ease, you could have them wherever the balcony is, which ends up being that side, so that's fine. I'm going to put two more on this side, and then we're going to daisy chain these. This is technically dangerous thing to do because, okay, so there's some, depending on how much work you want to put into your base at this point, right, knowing that it's going to get deleted. We obviously need to start wiring these up now, right? So these are now powering things. We can only have 4 power generators. You see top right. So we have a maximum of 100 power right now. With the electric eel, that goes up a bit, and there are some other bonuses as well that you can get if you really want way more of it. But you can see bottom left, we now, not bottom left, on the menu even, we can attach these to wires, and you can either daisy chain them together, which is kind of the way that I like to do it. So I'm going to daisy chain these like so. So basically what it means is if one of them is connected to something, they all are. And then what I actually like to do from this one is make a couple of switches. So we're just going to drop down here, okay? And you can put these anywhere that you want. The wires will stretch pretty much anywhere. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to grab my first switch, and I'm going to put it whilst overlapping with building structures. What? That's so strange. I'm actually going to put this downstairs. I want this to be doing my crafting stuff. Let's have switch right here. And I guess the funny thing is this isn't a light switch. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to attach this to our solar panels. And now we're going to attach this switch to any of our crafting benches that need power. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to attach it to this, which can be daisy chained to this, which can be daisy chained to this, which can also be daisy chained to this. Now, if you ever want to see your wires, you can see the bottom left. We can show the wires or not show the wires. I always just have mine off. Other players can't see them anyway. I was around one of my friends' bases and couldn't even see his wires, so it just isn't even something that you need to care about. I can't remember if any of these need powering, so just going to double check. Nope, that doesn't. Can tell because it doesn't say. If I highlight one of those, it'll say insufficient power on top left. These are fine. These don't need power. These are fine. These don't need power. And the reason that I've done that is as I said before, we have a limit on how much power we can use, right? So now I can switch this on. There we go. And this is now all powered. So if I come into here, you can see working, and then I can switch this off. The reason this is important is because now when we want to be doing the base defenses, we have a higher potential of power for the defenses that we want to use when it comes to defending this facility over here. So we can do something a little bit different with this. Obviously, I went a little bit crazy. Let's go ahead and demolish these flamethrowers because I didn't think they were very good. It's actually going to give me some rubber back, which is rather nice. I think I actually decided I was going to make this a 3x2 now. So let's go ahead. Let's extend this out. Out of all of the structures, this one is the important one to have the highest like health numbers on, if you can do. The turrets are very, very, very target happy. They don't hesitate at all, and they'll turn basically any direction. So for all that I like to have them like kind of facing outwards, it doesn't really matter too much which way you have them facing. But let me just double check that I've got everything that I need crafting wise before we move on to base defenses. Okay, so realistically, probably the only thing that I haven't physically said, but you should kind of know, is that the deviant storage is right here, the isolated securement unit. So just bear in mind that you need to know where that is in case you want to have more deviants. And this is the thing that we're going to be defending, right? So when we talk about defenses, this is the thing we're going to be defending. I haven't had any like random just attacks on the base or anything. Attacks come when we summon them basically, and they attack this. So when we do it, they're going to mostly go for that. If one gets like caught around here, it will try and attack the building, which is why you kind of want it to be as far away as possible from your base so they have more chance of just spawning here and just getting annihilated by all of your turrets. Okay, that's why we kind of want to be like a little bit away. Obviously with more territory space, or if I was being a little bit pickier, maybe we could have come out an extra block this way and would have been even further away, which would technically be better. But for now, we're just going to go ahead, we're going to work on some defenses, and realistically what you see right there, that's all you need. I think we did 30 cortexes in one go. So obviously only level 2 because it's the demo, but we did 30 cortexes in one go, and this was enough on its own basically. The flamethrowers didn't even get to fire. This will be absolutely fine. If you want to make this better, right, and what we've done to make this level so this is easy to transport is you just want to use some foundations like this, right, so that it's the same level. This is what's going to make it easier to transport, because that way, as you can see, when we're on a hill, that bit there will take like dominance, and then the rest of it kind of just extends itself out. So mega easy to just do it that way. Space yourself out in blocks. It's not quite Minecraft, but it feels like it when you're measuring in such a way. Get the thing that you're defending in a easily defendable position. I might even make this a 3x3. Let's do that. That way, if I want to, what I could do is put this inside of a little building, right? So I can select this, put it in the middle of a block, move this out the way for now, and then I could surround this with walls, right? So we can go stone wall. This doesn't really need windows. It will need a door so we can get to it. And now it's pretty much defended. Obviously, you could pretty this up if you wanted. I haven't technically put a roof on it. Let's do that. Let's put a ceiling on it, shall we? And now that's basically enclosed and easy for us to defend. Shouldn't have to worry about things coming from behind. We've got plenty of health on the stone buildings and plenty of defenses. The only downside to putting all of this walling on is that these are now going to struggle with arcs of fire, because obviously from any given point you may only have 3 of them available to fire now, depending where it is. And in the middle, there are going to be blind blind spots where there's only 2. Obviously, you should be able to take care of that. Shouldn't really be a massive issue. And you can have way more of them. I've only got 4 just because it kind of seemed to make sense. And so now what I'm going to do is we're going to put another switch. Probably a bad idea to have it on the outside. So let's see if we can fit the switch in here. See if it'll let me do it to the solar panel from here. Nope, it's too far. We have to do it in one go. Look, that would have been hilarious. But as you can see, it'll let me run it as far as I want. Take this all the way up to any of the solar panels. Really doesn't matter. As long as the switch is connected to the chain, like so. Now, I haven't tried this before, but realistically what you want to do is you want to attach each of the turrets individually to the switch. This will mean that if one of the turrets gets taken down, it won't take out all of your turrets, which is what we're trying to avoid here. And now we have our defenses switch, right? So if we look at this, we should see insufficient power. Switch it on, and now we have working. I haven't maxed out the amount of power that we could use, but now what you can see is we can actually use 100 power for defenses and 100 power for all of your crafting, which means that what I've done is very, very light in terms of what can be done, but this is now a functional base that should do everything that you need it to.